As they spoke, a warning siren sounded, echoing through the halls of the council chamber. Guards rushed to secure the entrances, and a hologram flickered to life, showing the approach of an unidentified fleet, its trajectory straight toward the council planet. The council members, once debating peaceful cooperation, now braced themselves for a threat they hadn't anticipated. Asval and Emma exchanged a look, their shared understanding unspoken but clear. Their alliance had ruffled feathers, and now someone was coming to test its strength. In a galaxy filled with countless species, each one distinct in power and intelligence, there was one race that had never found a need to rely on others: the proud, solitary Varkani. Known for their strength and advanced technology, the Varkani ruled over their territories with an iron grip, facing every challenge alone and thriving in it. To them, alliances were a sign of weakness, something to be avoided at all costs. They believed in their independence, taking pride in standing alone. But this fierce pride, this refusal to ally, made them a target of whispers across the galaxy. Civilizations that didn't hold as much power mocked the Varkani for their arrogance. They laughed at the Varkani's belief that they could face anything alone, calling them foolish for not having allies. And when word spread of a primitive species from a small blue planet, those same voices laughed even harder. The humans, a young species still getting used to the cosmos, were seen as little more than children playing with space travel. As they left the hidden planet, their ships packed with data and artifacts, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Unknown to them, a small probe had observed their landing, transmitting images and data back to an unknown location. Somewhere far across the galaxy, an individual received the transmission with a sly smile. This person, a leader in the shadowy Goral Syndicate, now knew of the Varkani and Human Alliance's discoveries, and they intended to claim the Aslari knowledge for themselves. Their technology was laughably simple, and their society was chaotic by galactic standards. But in time, the galaxy would learn just how wrong they had been. The humans were more than they seemed, and even the mighty Varkani would find themselves shocked by the strength hidden within these newcomers. Within minutes, Varkani and human ships, once designed for isolated battles, aligned in precise formation, preparing to defend the Council. The fleet's size and speed suggested a powerful force, and as the ships drew closer, it became evident they weren't there to negotiate. They hailed from the Goral Syndicate, a shadowy network that operated in the darkest corners of the galaxy, thriving on smuggling, black market deals, and the tensions between fractured civilizations. The Goral had no interest in peace or unity. They thrived in the chaos of conflict, and this newfound alliance threatened everything they stood for. The galaxy once again stirred with anticipation and uncertainty. The alliance had gained new purpose, but it had also gained powerful enemies, and the struggle for unity would only grow more complex. The Varkani and humans, once mocked for their differences, now held a key to the future if they could hold on to it and protect it from those who wished to wield it for their own ends. The journey had only just begun, and they knew that the road ahead was treacherous. Yet, with each other's strength, they felt ready to face whatever lay in their path. Together, they would unlock the secrets of the Aslari and attempt to shape a galaxy that had never fully understood the power of unity. As the first wave of Goral fighters closed in, the Varkani and humans found themselves fighting side by side once more. But this time the stakes felt different. They weren't just defending their alliance, they were defending the possibility of a new galaxy, one built on cooperation and shared purpose. The Goral's attacks were swift and brutal, their tactics ruthless. But the combined force of the Varkani's advanced weaponry and the humans' unpredictable maneuvers held strong, pushing back wave after wave of attackers. The humans' adaptability and the Varkani's disciplined strength proved an unbreakable combination, and soon the Goral began to falter. The Varkani's first real encounter with humans was on a shared mission in a hazardous region of space. A few human explorers, representing a coalition of species, had been sent to gather resources from dangerous planets, often the kind that no one else would touch. The Varkani had dismissed humans at first, expecting them to give up or fail. But to their surprise, the humans proved not only capable but unexpectedly resourceful. They adapted quickly to new environments, using whatever materials they could find and developing clever solutions to challenges that would stump others. While the Varkani stuck to their methods, refined over centuries, the humans embraced chaos, learning from every encounter and working together in ways that the Varkani found both strange and intriguing. This unpredictability, this wildness in human behavior, began to catch the attention of the Varkani leaders. For the first time, they wondered if they had underestimated this strange species. And as they plotted their next course, following the map to the first of the hidden sanctuaries, a strange feeling settled over them, a mixture of excitement and foreboding. What awaited them in those ancient halls of wisdom? What challenges and enemies would they encounter on the journey? The path was uncertain, but one thing was clear: they were about to uncover truths that could change everything. As the Allied crew prepared to depart for the first sanctuary, their ship's console flickered with a sudden alert, a transmission from deep space, encrypted and ancient. They decoded it, and a haunting voice filled the cabin, layered with 1,000 harmonies and a warning: the path you walk is sacred, but beware, not all who seek unity come with pure intent. The crew exchanged glances, a spark of determination in their eyes. This was no ordinary journey, it was a test of loyalty, trust and courage, and with a final, united nod, they set their course into the unknown. As the dust settled, the council members watched in awe. The Varkani and humans, standing united, had once again shown the galaxy the power of their alliance. The Gorol retreated, leaving behind a warning that echoed across the stars: those who defied the old ways would face consequences. But the council, inspired by the resilience of the Varkani and humans, chose not to be intimidated. They declared a new era of cooperation, a commitment to build bridges instead of walls. And with that declaration, the Varkani and humans found themselves at the forefront of a movement that would shape the galaxy for generations. There was something unique about humans: a drive, a resilience that was rare even among the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. The more the Varkani observed them, the more they sensed that humans might hold a power that went beyond technology or strength. It was something deeper, something that could not be measured, and it began to stir a quiet curiosity within the Varkani. But as the weeks passed, the tensions remained, simmering beneath the surface. New alliances were formed, but old rivalries refused to die. The Drisaki, humiliated by their defeat, began to rebuild their forces, their eyes set on revenge. The Gorol, though defeated, were not destroyed, and their agents moved through the shadows, spreading dissent wherever they could. Other civilizations, intrigued but wary, watched from afar, unsure if they could trust this new vision of unity. And so, while the alliance between Varkani and humans continued to grow, they knew that the path forward would not be easy. Yet even as the Varkani grew more intrigued, the rest of the galaxy continued to laugh. Civilizations that had alliances with humans were often ridiculed, and the idea of the mighty Varkani aligning with such a young species was a popular joke. The Varkani ignored these whispers, but they couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something important. They began to wonder, what was it about humans that allowed them to bond with others so easily? What made them so adaptable, so resilient? The Varkani had never valued alliances, believing that strength came from within. But the humans seemed to thrive on connection, on the bonds they formed with other species. They built relationships with species who had once been enemies, forging friendships in places where distrust had reigned for centuries. Humans could do something that no Varkani could. They could see potential in others, find strength in unity. The Varkani didn't yet understand it, but a seed of change had been planted, one that would soon grow in ways they could not imagine. In the midst of these challenges, Emma and Asval found themselves becoming unlikely friends. They spent countless hours discussing strategy, sharing stories of their cultures, and debating what the future might hold. Emma, always open and optimistic, encouraged Asval to consider the possibilities that unity offered, while Asval, cautious and calculating, reminded her of the dangers that still lurked in the galaxy. Together they embodied the strengths of their respective species, balancing one another in ways they hadn't expected, and as they worked side by side, a sense of trust and camaraderie deepened between them, an unbreakable bond forged in the fires of battle and shared purpose. Then came the day when the galaxy's balance shifted in a way that no one had anticipated. A new threat emerged, an ancient civilization known as the Drisaki. The Drisaki were conquerors, feared across the galaxy for their ruthlessness and power. They had no interest in diplomacy, no desire for alliances, only conquest, and their sights were set on the Varkani homeworld. For the first time, the Varkani faced an enemy they could not defeat alone. The Drasaki's technology was beyond anything the Varkani had encountered, and their numbers were vast. The Varkani's pride was suddenly shaken, their independence threatened. They knew they had no choice if they were to survive. They would need help. And so, with heavy hearts and reluctant words, the Varkani reached out to the humans for assistance. They sent a message, asking for an alliance, offering to share technology and resources in exchange for aid. They didn't know what to expect, whether the humans would even consider their offer. But to their surprise, the response was immediate. As the Varkani and humans ventured into the unknown, they knew that their alliance would be tested again and again. They would face enemies who sought to tear them apart, challenges that would push them to their limits, and choices that would define the very future of the galaxy. But they also knew that, together, they were stronger than they had ever been alone. And with each step forward, they carried with them the hope of a galaxy united, a hope that burned brighter with every victory, every alliance, and every bond forged in the pursuit of something greater than themselves. The humans answered without hesitation. They sent fleets, shared resources, and deployed their best fighters, all without asking for anything in return. For the humans, this was not about power or gain. It was a chance to stand together, to protect those who had once thought themselves above needing help. As the human ships arrived, the Varkani were stunned by the sense of unity and purpose they brought. The humans didn't see the Varkani's request as weakness. They saw it as an opportunity to show the power of cooperation, of standing together in the face of danger. And as the combined forces of humans and Varkani prepared for battle, they trained side by side, learning from one another in ways that neither had expected. The humans shared their tactics, teaching the Varkani new ways to think, to fight, to protect. And the Varkani, for the first time, shared their secrets, revealing technology and knowledge they had long kept hidden. It was a merging of minds, a meeting of equals, and the Varkani felt something they had never felt before: the strength of unity. The battle that followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Drasaki were powerful, relentless, their forces vast and seemingly unstoppable. But as the Varkani and humans fought together, they became something greater than the sum of their parts. The humans' courage, their resilience, their unyielding determination inspired the Varkani to new heights, driving them to fight harder than ever before. As the Drasaki ships fell one by one, the galaxy watched in awe. The laughter and mockery that had once surrounded the idea of a Varkani-human alliance had vanished, replaced by a quiet respect. The galaxy had witnessed something unprecedented: two civilizations, once separated by pride and doubt, standing together to overcome a threat that no one else had dared face. The Drasaki, once feared across the stars, had been driven back, defeated not by power alone, but by unity, by the courage to trust in one another. The galaxy watched, waiting to see if the Varkani and humans would succeed or fail, if they would stand or fall. And though the road ahead was uncertain, one thing was clear: their journey was only just beginning. The alliance between the Varkani and humans grew stronger, yet whispers of dissent and resistance persisted in the dark corners of the galaxy. This unity was something unprecedented, something that not every species looked upon kindly. Some saw it as an inspiring new chapter, a model for cooperation, but others viewed it as a direct threat to their way of life. And nowhere was this tension more evident than on remote, independent planets where the residents had little exposure to human or Varkani culture. Here, ancient grudges held sway, and suspicion ran deep. For every act of cooperation, there were murmurs that humans were attempting to manipulate the Varkani for their own gain, or that the Varkani sought to use human ingenuity for some hidden agenda. As the last of the Drasaki ships retreated, the Varkani looked at their human allies with a newfound respect. They realized that they had gained more than just a partner in battle. They had found something deeper, something that transcended the boundaries of species and culture. They had found a friend, a bond that could never be broken. The Varkani had learned that true strength wasn't about standing alone. It was about standing together, about the willingness to reach out, to trust, to share in both triumph and struggle. And from that day forward, the Varkani and humans remained united, facing the challenges of the galaxy side by side. Other civilizations, once quick to mock, now looked to them with admiration, seeking to learn the secrets of their alliance. The humans, once laughed at for their simplicity, had shown the galaxy the power of connection, of loyalty, of a bond forged not in strength but in friendship. And as the Varkani and humans ventured forth together, the galaxy could only watch in silence, humbled by the strength of a unity it had once doubted. These suspicions didn't stop the alliance from expanding its influence, though. In fact, as new diplomatic missions were launched, curiosity grew. Other species found themselves drawn to the humans' genuine willingness to bridge divides and the Varkani's unyielding loyalty to those they considered allies. The two civilizations began undertaking joint expeditions to uncharted regions, exploring parts of the galaxy that had long been ignored, places even the oldest species had avoided. These missions brought the Varkani and humans closer, not only in purpose but in understanding each other's quirks and histories. They exchanged stories over the quiet hum of their ships in deep space, finding solace in the shared experience of exploring the unknown. One day, on one of these expeditions, they stumbled upon something unexpected, a signal that seemed ancient, yet advanced beyond any known technology. It was unlike anything they'd encountered before. This signal originated from a planet deep within a nebula, hidden by layers of cosmic dust and radiation, almost as if it was deliberately shielded from the rest of the galaxy. The Varkani, cautious by nature, hesitated, while the humans, ever curious, urged them to investigate. The debate that followed mirrored the core of their partnership, human daring against Varkani prudence. With the Drisaki retreating and the Varkani-human alliance now celebrated throughout the galaxy, life across the stars began to change in subtle but profound ways. Other civilizations took notice of the alliance, sparking a wave of curiosity and cautious excitement. Could other species replicate what the humans and Varkani had achieved? The galaxy had long been divided, each species looking out for itself, forming loose partnerships that rarely held any real weight. But now something deeper seemed possible, a chance for civilizations to unite in ways they had never dared consider. The Varkani, once distant and proud, found themselves invited to discussions, councils, and diplomatic meetings, often led by humans who seemed effortlessly skilled in bringing different voices together. After hours of deliberation, they agreed to proceed, and together they set a course for the hidden world. As they entered the dense, glittering clouds of the nebula, their ship's sensors struggled to adjust to the strange energy waves emanating from the planetary surface. As they descended, an eerie silence filled their cockpits, broken only by the faint hum of the signal, which seemed to pulse like a heartbeat, inviting them closer. Upon landing, they were met with a sight that left them speechless: enormous structures towering into the sky, covered in symbols and patterns that seemed oddly familiar yet alien. As more civilizations began to reach out to the Varkani, the humans played the role of bridge builders, moving between species with their characteristic openness and curiosity. The Varkani were bewildered by how quickly humans adapted to each culture's quirks and customs, blending in without ever losing their own sense of identity. In many ways, humans acted as translators not just of language, but of emotions, finding common ground that others had missed. Slowly, the Varkani began to understand something they had never valued before: the strength that came from diversity. In working closely with humans, they started to see their own weaknesses as well as their strengths, realizing that their isolationist past had kept them from growing in ways they hadn't even realized were possible. The buildings looked ancient, worn down by time and elements, but there was a strange vitality to them, as though they had been preserved for a purpose. They cautiously ventured inside one of the structures, a combined team of Varkani and humans, each member alert, their senses heightened. Inside, the air felt dense with history, 1,000 untold stories hidden in the shadows. They found hallways lined with inscriptions and murals that hinted at a civilization long lost. The depictions seemed to tell the story of a species that had reached unimaginable heights before mysteriously vanishing. This newfound partnership opened doors the Varkani had never expected. They began exchanging technology and knowledge with other civilizations, learning new techniques and methods they'd never considered. Varkani scientists, once secretive and guarded, started working with human engineers and researchers from other species, creating innovations that neither civilization could have achieved alone. Together, they developed new forms of energy, propulsion systems, and medical advancements which were shared openly among their allies. The Varkani, once mocked for their isolation, had become leaders in a new, intergalactic community, one they were starting to cherish. And with humans at their side, they felt a deep sense of purpose and belonging that was new and almost startling. But not everyone was pleased with this alliance. Some saw the partnership between Varkani and humans as a threat, a force that could upset the galaxy's old power structures. Rumors began to spread, whispers in the shadows, about factions unhappy with this new unity, those who feared a world where collaboration might overshadow individual power. Some ancient civilizations, ruling over their realms for millennia, felt uneasy watching younger species, especially humans, rise so quickly in influence. The Drisaki, still nursing their wounds from their recent defeat, weren't the only ones watching with a mix of jealousy and dread. Tensions simmered beneath the surface, alliances were questioned, and distrust crept into places once open to diplomacy. The murals showed figures that looked humanoid but distinctly alien, standing tall and regal, with expressions that conveyed intelligence and purpose. What struck them most was a recurring symbol, two figures standing together, hands outstretched toward each other. It was eerily reminiscent of the Varkani and human alliance, as though this lost species had foreseen their arrival. This revelation sent chills down their spines. The notion that an ancient civilization might have predicted the union of their two species stirred something deep within them, a sense of destiny that they couldn't easily dismiss. As they ventured deeper into the structure, they found more advanced technology, pieces of machinery that hummed faintly with life, despite the centuries that had passed. The humans examined these devices, marveling at the craftsmanship, while the Varkani analyzed the materials and symbols, piecing together what they could about the civilization that had built them. The deeper they went, the more the atmosphere seemed to change, almost as if the building itself was responding to their presence. Doors opened with a whisper, corridors lit up as they entered, guiding them onward. It felt as if the entire place had been waiting for them. One night, while the Varkani and humans gathered for a council meeting on the neutral planet of Zenari, a quiet yet important conversation took place. The Varkani's High Commander Asval, a proud warrior whose life had been shaped by independence and solitude, stood by the humans' representative, Commander Emma Hart. Emma, known for her fierce loyalty and sharp instincts, sensed the undercurrents of tension rippling through the gathering. She looked at Asval with a quiet intensity. "We've accomplished so much together," she began softly, "but I don't think we can ignore the whispers anymore. There are those who don't want us working together." Asval's eyes, sharp and calculating, flickered with the realization that had gnawed at him for days. "I've heard rumors, forces gathering, even allies questioning our partnership." He paused, a slight bitterness in his tone. "We've done nothing but strengthen this galaxy. Why would they resist that?" Emma's gaze softened as she replied, "Because unity threatens those who profit from division. Our alliance has given hope to the small and the weak, but it has also shown the powerful that they may have to share that power. Not everyone is ready for that." Eventually, they reached a central chamber, a massive circular room filled with holographic displays. As they stepped inside, the room sprang to life, projecting an image of a tall, ethereal being with luminous eyes. The figure looked down at them, serene yet intense, and a voice echoed in their minds, speaking in a language that was somehow understandable to both species. "Welcome, travelers from afar. You have come as foretold, a union of strength and spirit. We are the Islari, the caretakers of this world. Long ago we left a path for those who would seek understanding and unity." The revelation was staggering. The Islari, a civilization shrouded in mystery, had anticipated the arrival of two allied species, creating a sanctuary and filling it with knowledge meant only for those who came together. The hologram continued, describing a time when the galaxy had been a place of peace, held together by alliances just as fragile and hopeful as the one between humans and Varkani. But something had torn that unity apart, scattering civilizations, burying knowledge, and sowing distrust. The Islari had foreseen a future where unity could be rekindled, and they had left behind tools, knowledge, and guidance for those brave enough to attempt it. The humans and Varkani listened, their minds racing with questions. Could the Islari's wisdom hold answers to the challenges they faced in their own time? Could they use what they learned here to counter the forces that sought to keep the galaxy divided? As the hologram faded, a map appeared on the floor, marking locations throughout the galaxy where other Islari sanctuaries might lie hidden, each containing more pieces of their lost knowledge. Without a word, the humans and Varkani looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. They had come seeking answers, and they had found a mission, a purpose that transcended their individual goals. They would follow the map, uncover the sanctuaries, and continue the Aslari's legacy of unity. But they knew it wouldn't be easy. News of their discoveries would soon spread, and there would be those who sought to prevent them from unlocking the Aslari's secrets. Rivals, enemies, and opportunists would undoubtedly emerge, each with their own reasons to keep the galaxy fractured.